All right, let's talk about something that's a huge part of our work lives, but let's be honest, it's often a source of major frustration. We are going to completely transform how you think about business meetings. We're going to give you a blueprint to make every single one of them count. Oh, you know this feeling. We've all been there, right? You're just watching the clock, your to-do list is getting longer and longer, and the conversation is just going in circles. It's such a universal pain point. But what if it didn't have to be that way? So just how much are we losing in bad meetings? We'll get this. Research shows that a well-run meeting, one with a clear agenda and real participation, is a staggering 50% more productive. I mean, just imagine that. Imagine getting twice as much done in half the time. That's the potential we're talking about right here. So, how do we get that 50% back? Well, it all starts with a shift in your mindset, and it's built on 5 core principles. Think of these like the constitution for every meeting you ever run or even just attend. These are your absolute non-negotiables. Okay, so these 5 principles are the bedrock. It all starts with preparation. Asking that super simple question, why are we even meeting, before you hit send on that invite. Then there's participation, because what good are great ideas if they're stuck in someone's head? Of course, time management, that's just about respecting everyone's most valuable resource. And focus, that's your shield against all those tangents that just kill momentum. But this last one, actionability, this might be the most important. It's the thing that separates a great meeting from just a chat. It's the promise that you're going to leave with clarity, not just more questions. So, with those principles locked in, we can now build a framework, a universal one. And this isn't just theory. It's a really practical 6-step blueprint that you can use for any kind of productive meeting, whether it's a quick team huddle or a huge strategy session. The best way to think about this is like a recipe for a great meal. You start with your prep work, getting your ingredients ready. The opening is like setting the table. The discussion, that's the main event where all the cooking happens. Then you move to decision-making to finalize the dish, clarify the action items so everyone knows what they're responsible for, and finally, the closing is plating it all up. You see, each step just flows right into the next. But here's the thing. The recipe for a hearty stew is not the same as the recipe for a delicate cake, right? And that's the beauty of this blueprint. It is super flexible. It's not this rigid set of rules. It's an adaptable framework. So let's look at how it works for 2 totally different kinds of meetings. So on the one hand, you've got that classic team meeting. It's all about alignment, tracking progress, and getting things done. But on the other hand, you have a brainstorming session, which is all about exploration, creativity, and sparking new ideas. Both are absolutely essential, and both can be made way better using the same core blueprint. So here's what that blueprint looks like in the wild for a typical weekly team sync. You can see that structure in action, can't you? A clear opening, dedicated time for updates and assigning tasks, and a solid wrap-up that's all about action items. The key here is that disciplined time management. Every single minute has a job to do, which keeps the meeting on track and makes sure everyone leaves knowing exactly what's next. Now, check this out. Look how that exact same blueprint adapts for a brainstorming session. The core structure, it's still there, but the content, totally different. That main discussion block has now become a full 50 minutes dedicated to idea generation, complete with a creative warm-up. This is what shows you the real power of the framework. It gives you the what, but it gives you all the flexibility to customize the how. Okay, so we've covered the principles, we've walked through the blueprint, and we've seen some examples. Let's boil it all down into a simple, really powerful master plan you can use to start fixing your own meetings, like right away. This right here, this brings it all home. The pitfalls on the right, they're not just little mistakes. They're the recipe for frustration. A meeting without an agenda isn't flexible, it's just lost. And when 1 or 2 people do all the talking, you're not collaborating. You're just listening to a lecture. And leaving without clear next steps, well, that's just a guarantee that you're going to have to meet about the exact same thing again next week. The practices on the left are the direct antidote. It's really a choice, isn't it? A choice between focused, productive work and just spinning your wheels. At the end of the day, changing a company's meeting culture isn't just one person's job. It happens when everyone decides to collaborate in a better way. You now have the blueprint for success. You've got the principles, the structure, and the real-world examples. So the only real question left is, how are you going to use it? How will you become that agent of change and build a more productive future, one meeting at a time?